Coming up next on the Happy House Father's Day Special.
We're celebrating dads. Join us to take a look at great dads we know.
And he's telling everyone else in the class, like, there's my daddy, there's my daddy. And it was the biggest smile I've ever seen.
Fun ideas to do with dads.
Go ahead and put it up there and see if you can get it to stay.
That's really good. I know, right?
That's so good.
And learn a little bit more about what kids have to say about their dads.
My dad is really good at cleaning up my messes.
Join us for a special episode all about dads. You won't want to miss this.
Hi, I'm Happi.
I learned early on things are much easier with a little help. I also have a few tricks of my own to share. It's go time, people. Welcome to the Happy House, presented by Creative Kid Stuff.
What do you love to do with your dad? What's your favorite thing to do with your dad?
That I get to wrestle with him.
You get to wrestle with him?
Yeah, and I like to.
You like to do that?
Huh?
What else do you like to do with your dad?
Play with him.
I am with one of the best dads I know, Chris Montana, and we're gonna talk a little bit about what it means to be a dad. Chris, how many kiddos do you have?
3 boys.
3 boys.
Oldest is 4, so
Okay.
we're
3
gluttons.
Under the age of 4. Is that busy?
It is as busy as I have ever been.
Don't you think it's funny when people say they're so busy and they don't have kids? I don't want to really laugh at them, but it's like you don't understand what.
You don't want to be snotty.
No, but you never understand what busy is until.
It's another gear, right? You find it, and everyone finds it, but it is definitely another gear.
What is your favorite part about being a dad?
God, I love so many parts about being a dad. You know, I have these little boys who run around, and whatever I do, they want to do too. And you know, if I come in and sit down, this actually happened the other day. I sat down and one of my boys said he didn't like onions, and I said, well, I like onions. He's like, well, I like onions now too. And
You gotta love that.
Come on, right? I mean, if that doesn't brighten up your day, then you need to loosen up the screws a little bit.
Do you have one moment that sticks out for you that was sort of a defining moment about being a dad?
Yeah, well, this might be a little bit of an odd answer, but my pivotal dad moments have much more to do with my wife than with my kids.
Okay.
Right? Because, you know, I had an idea of what I was going to be as a dad. She had an idea of what she was going to be as a mom, but, you know, until you actually are in it, you don't know what you're going to be as parents. And I think that one of the better skills that any dad can have is probably figuring out how to work with mom, right? And
What are you saying about us, Chris?
I'm not. No, I mean it's tough when you think this is what I think is going to be best for my little boys, and she's thinking something different, and you realize that you're both only 50% of the puzzle, and you have to come together to come up with a solution. And it's not a dictatorship on either side.
No.
And I think that to me, like as far as what's going to be great for them as they grow up, is to have 2 parents who can do that. And that's both. My wife is used to running things, and so am I. And so, maybe that's why we're attracted to each other, but it also creates some conflict. But I think it creates a cool opportunity for both of us to grow as parents and think about, well, what can we do that's best for these munchkins?
That's awesome. What is your favorite thing to do with your boys?
I like playing any kind of game with them. I mean, they're very physical, and I don't mind that. And so, if they have it their way, then all we're doing is wrestling and rumbling in the house in every room in every way. They really like baking with me.
They do?
Yeah, they love it. And if I make anything, regardless of what they're doing, TV could be on anything, they will run in and they'll want to bake with me. And they want to mix things, and they know the rules.
Which is science. Basically, it's science.
It is science.
Yeah, that's
So we're getting them started early.
That's awesome. Do you have a memory that you want to share with us about your dad?
Well, with me, it's kind of an interesting bag because I didn't have a dad that was part of my life until I was adopted at 14. And so, and that definitely affects the dad that I am now. I obviously, have my dad to look at, and, from a teenager on, I had him as a role model, and I definitely try to live up to his standard. But then I also remember that when I was that young kid, when I was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I didn't have that dad there. And so now I try to be what I wanted when I was a kid. And I try to be that, supportive, but also guiding influence that I know that I needed and wish that I had had.
That's very inspirational, honestly.
Well, there's only two ways you can really go with it. Either that's going to be the basis of a good story or a bad one. It's either an excuse or it's an opportunity. And for me, I think that it's an opportunity for me to think a little more about what I'm doing with my kids, because I know the impact that it can have, and I know the impact that the absence can have. And so that affects what I do in my work. It affects, once upon a time I used to be at work all the time, but as they grow up, I know that someone needs to be there. And I know that dad needs to be a physical presence that is there in the home, and doing multiple things in the home, not necessarily just showing up to wrestle. Right. So that every day, that guides what I do with them.
That's awesome.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time won't you sing with me? But you couldn't hear Ash's voice because he was listening very quiet.
Ideas for starting a parent-child book club, presented by Supermoms.
Chris, you and I both love to read to our kids.
Absolutely.
And we talked about starting a book club. And one thing I specifically loved about that is you talked about how you want to do other things besides wrestle with your boys or play sports with your boys. Like, you want to do things that dads don't typically do.
I think it's important that kids see that, right? And that they understand that dads can be, the whole picture, right? And as they grow up and they try to emulate those dads and one day become those dads, that they also will be the readers, right? And, the thinkers in the house as well.
I think that's great.
I'm here today with our friend Chris Montana. We did a segment at his family-owned business, and during that I found out that you and I are both kind of book nerds. I don't know, English majors.
The secret's out.
Secret's out. We love books, and both of us are very passionate about getting our kids to read.
Absolutely.
So I proposed an idea to you about doing this segment regarding getting a parent-child book club started, because I think a lot of people have play groups. I mean, that's a very common thing, but why not incorporate reading into that as a piece of it?
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me, and that's why when you brought it up, I said, what a great idea. What's also nice for mom and dad is to be able to get together with other mom and dads and then share something with their kids that is going to be a lifelong skill for them, that is going to be important for them to build and also have an interest in themselves. We don't want to be shoving reading down our kids' throats. We want them to want to come to it, and this is one way that we can do that. Mm-hmm. And one nice thing about doing something like this is that it still is structured. There's still something that you can share with your kid, right? And you can sit down, you can do that, both you and your son or your daughter, but also you can do that with other dads, right? And so you can kind of share in that collective nervousness and apprehensiveness of, how do I relate to my kid? Well, you can use the book as the way to relate to your kid.
And I think the nice thing about the book club, you and I talked, is a lot of times dads, specifically dads with boys, and I'm not going to stereotype, but even dads with girls I think do this, but go to that physical thing, that taking your kids skating, taking your kids to do something, but to be part of something more cerebral, which is a lot of times what moms take on, is kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I do that too. When one of the things that you will hear when you walk into my house, particularly when I come home from work, is my oldest boy, who's only 3, is going to run up and he's going to scream wrestle, because it's on, right? Yeah. And I love wrestling with my kid, and I don't see anything wrong with that. But at the same time, you want your kid to see you as more than, you don't want to compartmentalize these different skills that they're going to learn. As a father of 2 boys, I want them to know that it's perfectly fine for you to, one, be a physical guy and competitive and all that, but I also want you to be a cerebral guy, and I want you to, also think about, how can you be using your mind. So sitting down with the boys and saying, yeah, maybe we wrestle this, that, and the other, but Dad likes to read. Do you want to read with me? They usually are now the ones coming to me saying, here's my book, let's read this, Dad. Of course, they can't read, but they want me to go through it, and they enjoy the process.
What I think is interesting when we're talking about a book club, I think people think about things like this, like chapter books and maybe reading offline. But a book club can be just as simple as taking one of your favorite books, your favorite picture books, and whoever is the host parent simply reads this out loud. There could be some sort of easy craft with it. There could be a snack, but it does not have to start when kids can read. It can start much earlier than that.
Yeah, and kids are interacting with these books way before they can read them, right? And that's one of the nice things about picture books, right? Is that we're going through it, we're telling the story, they're getting that story, but they see something on the page that we didn't talk about. Right? They see maybe there's a bird off to the side. They want to know about that bird. They want to know what that bird is doing. And so even as we're going through a page that for these books that are for younger children, volumes are not going to be written on those pages, right? That's not really the point. But we still can ask questions. We still can ask, hey, what's the bear doing here? What are the birds doing? How many birds are there? And the kids can still interact with it, and it becomes more of a back and forth as opposed to I'm just feeding you information.
I love that. And allowing, whenever I used to go into my children's classrooms to read books, you would get to do that. I would always allow space at the end of a page for those kinds of questions and interactions to happen. I think it's really important because they are noticing things that we're not noticing.
Yeah, and they want to be a part of it. I mean, what kid wants to sit still for? I mean, how long does it take to read a book? Maybe it'll take you 10 minutes.
Right.
Do you know any young kids who want to sit still for 10 minutes? I'm having a hard time sitting still right now, right? So, I mean, they want to be a part of it.
They do want to be a part of it. One thing I like to do with my kids is actually have them sit right beside me so they're seeing the words that I'm reading on the pages.
There have been books that should have happened in 5 minutes that have taken a half hour because it's what does that word say? What does that word say? And I mean, you're just, the grin, you can't wipe it off your face because that's exactly what you want. You want them to be interested in that because they now have an interest in figuring out how can they read it on their own.
Right. Chris, you brought this book today, and I've never seen it before because my kids are a little bit older than yours, and I think this is newer, but what do you love about this book?
So for any book, for any writing, you're always thinking about your audience. And when you're reading to small kids, those kids can't read. So you're telling them the story, but the person reading it is mom or dad. And mom and dad get to, have a little fun too. So what I like about this book is it's a good story. It's perfectly applicable. It, it has that little bit of didacticism to it. So the kids are going to learn a little bit, and that's fine. But there, the drawings and the dialogue are also reaching back to mom and throwing a couple jokes at mom and dad. So I think that is an author who knows their audience. Right?
I love that. I love reading very clever books.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say before we conclude also is I think that people think that once a child can read, they don't need to be read out loud to, and I disagree with that. Anybody loves to have a story told to them. And what's nice about that is, your boys are a year and a half apart. There will be a significant difference in one's reading ability versus the others at a certain point, but if you're reading out loud to them, that younger child can still, even if he can't read the book, understand what's going on and be part of the story.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So I love it. All right, I think book clubs, we should start our own book club.
Let's do it.
All right. Coming up next on the Happy House, learn how to make these over-the-top shakes with Christopher and I.
Hey Happy, it's Christopher Straub here wishing all the dads a very happy Father's Day. And I'm thinking back about one of the moments that sort of tugged at my heartstrings the most was my kid's first day of school, and my 3-year-old, we let him go and he kind of cried a little bit when we got there, and I was thinking the whole day when he was there, like, oh, he's gonna forget about me. He's gonna not remember who I am or whatever, and I don't know. So those feelings go through your head about what is he gonna do all day and how is he gonna feel when he's done or when I pick him up. So about the time of day when I went to pick him up, thinking he's not gonna remember me, I see him knocking at the window as I pull up. He sees me and he's telling everyone else in the class, like, there's my daddy, there's my daddy. And it was the biggest smile I've ever seen. And I hold that memory dear because it was so sweet and so charming and so unexpected. And he was so happy to see me, and I was definitely happy to see him.
Learn how to make over-the-top milkshakes, presented by Supermoms.
Chris, I did a segment with one of our special friends, Christopher, and we made crazy shakes. Your boys like to eat ice cream?
Absolutely.
I gotta show you this because I think your mind will be blown.
Hey, I'm into it.
Christopher, I was recently in New York and went to a restaurant where they made the most amazing shakes, and I want to teach you how to make them. I thought it'd be a fun project for us.
I love a shake.
You do?
I do. Who doesn't love a shake?
Who doesn't love a shake? So these are kind of crazy, and we've got a whole bunch of ingredients out here, and it's just the two of us today, but I think it'll be super fun to do this for a birthday party.
Okay.
The first thing we're gonna do, you've got vanilla frosting.
Vanilla.
I chose chocolate.
Okay.
So we are gonna dress the outside of our glasses.
On the outside of this?
Yes. So what we're gonna do is just take our spatula
I'm watching.
and frost the outside of our glass. It's
All
gonna
right.
be like a glue of sorts.
This feels counterintuitive. All of it? 360?
Yeah. So this definitely would be like a birthday treat or a very special occasion treat because this is gonna be over the top. So we've got this coated.
Okay, I'm coated.
Then what we're gonna do is choose one of these sort of amazing treats we have here to coat our glass.
So this is gonna decorate the outside, and
Yes.
this is sort of like if it was a gingerbread house. Like this is the
glue.
spackle. And then,
the spackle.
all right. And then these are like the
Yeah.
things that go on.
So
All
we've
right.
got like some toffee, we've got these Skittles, we've got sprinkles, chocolate chips, cereal.
Cereal, that's easy.
Like kids love sugared cereal and it's kind of a treat, I think. And you could even, if you want to, do a couple of things. Like
Okay.
I'm gonna choose this toffee
Okay.
and I'm gonna put it on my plate.
Okay, that
And
goes
roll
on
my
the plate
glass
first. I'm gonna do sprinkles. I think that's classic.
And so I'm just basically like patting my glass
Oh my gosh, that looks amazing.
and coating it.
I don't know if mine's gonna look that good.
I think, well, I'm gonna take some sprinkles too. I think it's fun to, sometimes it's fun to kind of do a combo. We like the things to be.
Hey, this is actually easy.
What are you saying, that I don't have skills?
No, I'm saying I had no trust in this project.
Perfect. You're gonna do some cotton candy.
Just doing some like situation here.
What we're gonna do then is put these in the freezer so they set up
Good
nice.
idea.
So like, let's say you didn't want it to be a do-it-yourself project at a birthday party because this could get real messy.
Right,
You could make
pre-make
these ahead
'em.
of time and have them ready to roll and serve them out on a tray. And then kids could choose what kind of milkshake they wanted and what things go on top. So we'll talk about that part later.
Perfect.
But let's put these in the freezer and set them up.
All right.
Christopher, we decorated the outside of our glasses.
Yes.
Now it's time to make some milkshakes. We're not making malts, we're making milkshakes. So it's
What's the difference?
malt has malt powder in
Okay.
it. So this is basically with milk and ice cream.
Got it.
Pretty simple. So we've got this blender
Okay.
here, and I'm gonna let you take off the lid. What I think is fun to do, especially for parties, is to have, I've got here a vanilla, I've got a cookies and cream, and then I've got this coffee toffee crunch. So I'm gonna let you choose which flavor you want today.
Well, I want to say vanilla only because it's already nuts. Like it's already crazy.
Yeah, we
So-
should do vanilla then.
all right.
I think that's a great idea. So go ahead and scoop a lot of ice cream into the blender.
All right.
Wow.
Tell me when to stop.
Keep going.
I have blender anxiety because like I don't want to invest in a blender just to have it not perform.
This is a good one. We'll talk blenders later.
All right, all right.
All right, so actually you could probably empty out the rest of that.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it does take a lot of ice cream to make milkshakes, especially when we're making them for a big group of people, which I feel like there's some people in the room that the audience can't see that might be interested in eating a milkshake. Okay,
Okay, ice cream, check.
check. All right, then we're gonna pour some milk in, and I just like to kind of play this by ear. So pour some in, and then we're gonna turn the blender on, and
Like half, quarter, how much?
I say like just to there for a
A
start.
third to make it difficult?
Yeah. A little bit more. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. That's all right. And then put the lid on. Lid. And snap it down.
Okay.
Yep.
What am I blending on?
Power high. High. All right.
Go!
All right. Let's try.
Should we push it down a little bit?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
scrape the sides because I don't know that we need more milk.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Maybe a tiny bit more milk.
Throw it in.
You don't want it like too runny, but okay. So easy enough.
Okay, I think we're below the blades now, so this should be easy.
Should be good. 7.
Okay, high.
Yep.
Do you like it more?
Yeah, I think, well, let's look.
So what am I looking for?
Let's see. Let me look at this. It actually probably needs a little bit more milk because you want to be able to pour it. You know, we might be good.
Okay.
All right. So that is easy breezy. Let's get our glasses. We made a couple together, and I had made a couple or a few ahead of time. So
Ooh,
let's get
fun.
them out of the fridge or freezer and start the final step.
The assembly?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So
Okay.
now what's going to happen is the best part.
All right.
We are going to put our milkshake in here. And sometimes I actually even like to put like chocolate syrup or butterscotch syrup like in.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of make it.
Do a little drizzle.
So we're going to pour the milkshake in, and then the fun begins.
Can I pour yours?
Yes, please. Twisty.
Twisty.
Oh, you could. Oh, yeah. That's going to be good.
All the way up?
Yep.
Most of the way?
Actually, that's perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Because we want to leave room for whipped cream. Oh, yeah. All right. So now what we're going to do is, believe it or not, add more. With this, more is more. So I'm going to take my frosting,
Okay.
and I am going to, in this case, instead of frosting the glass, I'm actually going to frost the parts I want to attach. So if you
All
want
right.
to put like more cotton candy on yours,
Oh my God.
little candy
What should I do?
Well, what seems, ooh, these Rice Krispie bars. would
I'll
be
take a Rice Krispie bar.
All right, those would be kind of fun.
I'll grab a couple of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely something that you could share with someone.
I would hope so.
Then we are going to decide what goes on top.
Looks like a good idea.
I'm gonna do something.
No, you're not.
Yes, I sure am. It's going right on top.
Oh my God.
I need whipped cream. Oh, how is that?
Smells so good.
And a straw, obviously.
Obviously.
All right, ready?
No.
Cheers.
Cheers. Clink.
That's really good. I know, right?
It's so good.
So good.
I'm full.
I need a break.
Yeah, right.
Hey, what do you think? Are you going to try those for your boys?
I think I want to try one. I don't know if I want my kids to eat a whole one because I don't know if I could deal with the aftermath, but I want one.
Okay.
I'm at Happi Broadcasting today talking to people about being dads and having dads for our Father's Day special. And I'm about to find one of my favorite guests, Alexis Thompson. I'm actually going to sneak surprise her. Alexis, what are you doing in here, girl?
Hey!
Hi.
Getting some work done.
Getting some work done?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about your dad?
I hit the jackpot with my dad. He's the best. Was always there and a good listener, lots of fun, super awkward in terms of his jokes, but that's why you have dad jokes, right?
Right.
He's the king of dad jokes. He's very kind and he's also very patient. I know math because of my dad. He took the time to teach it in the way that I could absorb it, and I actually like math because of him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually really awesome.
Yeah, he is.
How many kids do you have first?
I have 2.
And how old are they?
They are 28 and 24. When your kids get to be that age, you can start to be more of a friend, which you really aren't when they're young.
Right.
When people say, my mom is my daughter's my best friend and she's 12, no, you can be friendly towards a 12-year-old, but she's not your best friend. You're a parent.
Right.
And therein lies the difference. But when they get to be 24 and 28, soon to be 25 and 29, you're still the dad, but there's a little bit more of that friendship aspect of it also, because I'm sharing more of my life with them. Does that make sense?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yes, I'm hoping to get there.
You know, it's really not rocket science. You do have to kind of just use your head and use some good common sense, and you figure it out along the way. You really do.
Best advice ever.
Thank you.
What is your favorite part about being a dad?
Watching my kids play sports. It takes a while until they get to be 5, 6, 7 years old, and then you start coaching them, and then that's all you do. So, but it's the most fun. It's gratifying. It's rewarding. You get to spend time with them. Especially my 15-year-old who wants nothing to do with me now that he's 15 and he's a teenager.
Is that a thing?
Other than sports. So that's what keeps us together and keeps us talking about things. So
That's actually really valuable. Rocco, you have one little boy?
Yeah, 6-year-old
A
Bruno.
6-year-old?
Yeah.
Bruno?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about being a dad?
I like just kind of reliving my childhood with him, playing, learning, having fun, and being a kid again, like with him and through him and doing all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. One time we went to a Timberwolves game, and Belle Biv DeVoe was playing at halftime, and they were like somebody I liked when I was a kid, and Bruno happened to like their music, and we were walking to the parking lot, and we saw them out in the street getting their picture taken out front of First Ave, and I was like, oh my gosh, can we get our picture with you guys? And here it is. Here's Belle Biv DeVoe and my son. I was like, yeah, that was crazy.
That's awesome.
Kids' imaginations are so amazing. So when you're playing with them and you guys think up of a fun game and you're doing something together and you guys can play for hours, like can't get better than that.
Can't get better than that.
Yeah, it's great.
Every dad has like a trick up his sleeve. What is yours?
I have a hidden talent of balloon animals. And my kids don't quite know I do it, because if they did, they'd just be telling me to make a dog all the time or something like that. But I do know how to make balloon animals.
What if I don't believe you? Here you go.
Oh, these are good ones. All right, ready? So here's my trick I always do. So the key is, if they ask for something really fancy like a dragon or like a penguin or something like that, you always tell them, don't you want a sword? Because the sword is the easiest thing to do. And if they break the sword, you can teach them how to use the sword. So I always, and the key is too, if you know the art of balloon making.
Which I don't, but okay.
Once you make one sword, you make 1,000 swords, and it's the easiest thing. So
Okay.
sword, right here, here's how you do a sword. Oh.
It's happening right here.
Boom. All right, ready? Quick and easy sword. You do one twist, and you go through, and little Jimmy couldn't be happier. Look at that. And then every kid wants a sword, and that's all you got to do, and you can sit back and enjoy yourself. Don't show them. If you make one dragon, you're making like 20
Do you know
dragons.
how to make a dragon?
I do, but I'm not going to show you a dragon because everyone in here is going to want a dragon then.
You're actually coming back on the Happy House and you're going to make some dragons.
I will. All right, I'll show you how to do a dragon. My signature piece, and Alexis Thompson knows this, is my balloon monkey hat. A monkey hat that's great. A monkey hat wins.
Thank you so much for being
Thank you,
with us.
Happy. See you guys.
My favorite thing about my dad is that he wears glasses and it makes him look like a nerd. My dad is really good at cleaning up my messes.
This portion of the Happy House Father's Day Special is brought to you by greatergood.org. Chris, I had the opportunity to travel to Kenya and visit an incredible greenhouse. Do you garden with your boys at all?
You know, I'm not the home gardener.
You're not?
That's not a skill in my repertoire.
So what was really interesting to me about it is the science behind it. It's basically vertical gardening. And then as soon as I got home, I looked up ideas for that. And they basically use recycled plastic bottles. And you, if you don't have a lot of space, can garden up. And I think it's a really cool way to get started gardening with kids.
That sounds awesome.
I'd always heard how hard it is in drought-stricken Africa to grow anything because of the lack of water. The innovative gardening staff at Wildlife Works does things by trial and error. It's really impressive. They're patient and they come up with solutions that really work. Their garden is flourishing.
All our activities in Wildlife Works, as I'm sure you have been told, are geared towards conservation of wildlife, that is plants and animals as well. We establish forests and plant trees where there has been degradation and in new areas. We collect approximately 30,000 tree seedlings from the community. We nurture these seedlings until the next rains, the longer rains, which come in November, December. Thereafter, during the rainy season, we distribute it back to the community. We buy from them, but when we distribute, we give it out free of charge. So that way we are contributing to reforestation and afforestation in new areas. The most important thing is to employ the local people. So people have only two resources, that is animals and the trees for burning charcoal. If they were not here, majority of them would be engaged in either of those two at a certain level.
Most people don't realize that probably estimates are something like 80% of Africa's rural population, maybe higher, use charcoal as a fuel or produce charcoal to sell as a product. A sad but interesting fact is that when you see a bag of charcoal on the highway here, which is where it is stored before it's transported up and down in the market, 7 of those sacks represent one 200-year-old tree. So an ancient hardwood tree is rendered down to 7 sacks of charcoal, and the market value of those 7 sacks of charcoal is used to be $20. Now it's probably $40 because the scarcity of the wood to turn into charcoal is increasing the price.
We're at the Wildlife Works greenhouse learning about innovative methods for organic gardening. It's really incredible. Vertical farming is a way to stretch your resources. 3 of these upright containers equals 1 row of plants. That's 24 meters of space in these compact containers.
It is a skill that not everyone can do this very easily. I taught these guys to do it, and now because I've not been doing it, now
They're better?
they're much better. I don't even know.
Isn't that how it goes?
I don't even want to try now.
Lynn, they're growing ginger here. You gotta smell this. It's so good. It's crazy.
Take it home.
It's all about conservation. I'm not taking anything. I am so impressed with everything and how smart they are. And I actually asked him how he learned to do all of these things and what his training was. And like everything Wildlife Works does, it's so collaborative. He said he learned from people along the way. He's been doing this for 25 years. Sometimes he reads things, but basically people, when they find something that works, they share it with him. When he finds something that works, he shares it with others. So it's just such an amazing community here.
Here, give me the ginger again.
It's so
I'm
good.
in heaven.
I know. I don't want to leave this place.
I think my favorite thing to do with my kids is I selfishly get them involved in things I want to do. Like, I want to do that puzzle. I want to make that model. I want to go on that ride, and I want to watch the Ninja Turtles. And so then you get them sort of in your, like, you could celebrate it together because I already like them and they've never heard of this and they think it's cool too. And then we have something to enjoy together. Or they'll get into something that I really wasn't interested in, like, I don't know, like Superman, the Marvels, Iron Man, and they get really into that, and then because of it, I get into it, and then I can't help but buy them all the little toys and get them little temporary tattoos, and I think that's something that we really find common ground on and we really like to do together.
Kids Science, presented by Supermoms.
So one thing I think is the most fun about being a parent is shenanigans. Do you ever have shenanigans at your house?
As much as possible.
I have a really fun science experiment I want to show you, and there were shenanigans involved, and a hairdryer.
I'm curious.
We're back at it, talking science with Liz Heineke and our lab assistants. What are your names, girls?
Divya, Kieran.
They are so smart. We've been talking ahead of time, and they know a lot about science. But Liz, you're going to teach us more. And before we start, though, we have to kick it off with a song.
We always do, right? You guys ready to sing the science song? Yeah, they know. Physics.
Physics.
Biology.
Biology.
Chemistry.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physics louder.
Physics.
Biology.
Biology.
Chemistry.
Chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That makes me happy. Liz, what are we doing today?
Today we're playing with pressure.
Pressure.
And we're going to do this using balloons, balls, and something you might have around the house. Do you guys have one of these at your house? Yeah, a blow dryer. So we are basically going to be trapping these balls and this balloon in an airstream and seeing what happens. So we're going to try a few things. We are going to try it with small balls, like ping pong balls. What do you think? What do you guys think is heavier, a ping pong ball or a balloon?
Ping pong ball.
Yeah, what do you think? We're gonna try it with ping pong balls, balloons, and this other random ball that I found in my basement. Okay. But this is a fun way to do it at home, and we're even gonna try to put in more than one ball to see what happens, all right? So what should we start with? Balloon?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the balloon. I'm gonna turn it on low. Go ahead and put it in there. Put it on top. Can you, look at that. Can you see how it's just suspended there? The air pressure, different forces are acting on this that trap it in the airstream. But the air is pushing up on the balloon, right? The balloon is pushing down on the air because of gravity, right? They're pushing on each other. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it a little. Do you think it'll go sideways if I turn the airstream sideways?
That was what I was about to ask. If you turn the hairdryer, would it turn the balloon? Like, if you turn the hairdryer around?
Look up, see what's happening. Is it working? How far do you think I can do it before gravity takes over? More?
Yeah, a little bit farther.
Oh, gravity won. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna try it with ping pong ball. Do you wanna try the green ball first? The green ball's a little heavier, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in. I might have to turn it up to high. What do you think? Okay, let's try again. I'm gonna turn it up to high.
It looks like it's something full of ice.
Go ahead and put it up there and see if you can get it to stay. It is heavier, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's as high as the blow dryer can go. Should we try to turn it again?
Yeah.
Whoa, that didn't work quite as well. Okay, and I have this on the coolest setting. I thought I did. Oh, okay. Let's try this again with a little bit higher setting. Bounces around a lot. Okay, should we try ping pong balls?
Yeah.
What do you think will happen with ping pong balls?
Maybe it would go a lot higher than that.
Why would it go higher, do you think?
Because that one's bigger. This one's a lot bigger and heavier.
Okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna turn it on high again. Go ahead and put one ping pong ball in. Wow. Okay, let's see what happens if we put another ping pong ball in. Kieran, do you wanna put another one in? It looks like they're dancing. Okay, Happy has to try a third. Yeah, another fun thing you can try is when you have a ping pong ball suspended, put an empty toilet paper roll over it. It changes the pressure so that the ball will shoot up. It shoots out of the airstream, but it shoots up through the toilet paper tube. One of the forces at work is called Bernoulli's principle. But I talked to my dad, the physicist. He said there are many, many other forces at work as well in this experiment, but it's a fun way for kids to play with air pressure using stuff you have around the house, right?
That was probably one of the easiest experiments that we have done. So that's super fun. Now, is that in either of your books?
That is not in my books. That's one I just tried recently.
Well, next book.
Yeah, I'm working on a third one right now.
All right, so your two books are so awesome because they make science accessible to kids and, more importantly, to parents who are a lot of times afraid to dive into those kinds of things with their kids.
Science is super easy, it's super fun, and it teaches kids to be creative, and it teaches them that it's okay to make mistakes.
Yes.
Stuff doesn't always work, that's okay. What do you do when something doesn't work?
Try it again.
That's right, and maybe try some new things, right?
Yeah.
So.
Liz, I've seen this before, and one thing I've always wanted to try is having this full roll of toilet paper and blowing on it.
I've never tried it either, let's do it. So blow from underneath.
So girls, this might not work, or it might work. What's your guess?
It will work.
It will work?
What do you think,
What's
Karen?
your guess, Karen?
Actually, sort of.
Okay, let's try it, let's try it. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it the other way. Let's try it this way. Oh, there we go. Oh, blow from underneath again.
Okay, hang on.
Here, wait. I think it was working like this. Oh. We have to keep trying until we can. Oh!
It's working!
There it goes.
Who knew how much fun a roll of toilet paper
Yay, it worked. High five. That was a good one. Who wants to roll this back up
It
again?
was going to work.
You didn't?
No.
Why not?
Because at first it looked like it was just dancing up in the air.
Yeah.
Toilet paper dancing.
So I think this is another illustration of Bernoulli's principle where air is moving faster, the pressure is lower.
Yep.
But I don't know why it makes the toilet paper spin out. I'll have to look that one up.
It's exciting.
Okay. Now we're gonna try this. Okay. So who wants to put the ping pong ball?
Okay.
Okay, you wanna grab it, Divya? Okay. Go ahead and put it right there. Okay. Now, are you guys ready? Should we make it shoot up? Now we're gonna change the air pressure. It's gonna move faster through this tube and the outside air won't be acting on it as much. Wanna do it again?
Yeah.
Okay, here. Go ahead and put it on there. You wanna try it, Happy?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, put it on there. All right, I'm lowering it down.
Nice. It's so satisfying. Yeah, you can try.
Okay, wanna try? All right, put it in there. Straight over it. The air has to blow straight up through it. Yeah, nice. Wow, that was exciting.
All you need for fun is toilet paper and a hair dryer.
And a ping pong ball.
And a couple of really cute assistants. Thank you guys so much, Liz. This was tons of fun.
I agree.
I feel like that is the most fun that anyone has had with a roll of toilet paper.
I think you're right.
Thanks for being with us today. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, this has been fun.
We love our dads.
The silliest thing my dad has ever done is he was like, do this, write a meow. Instead of now, meow. Yeah, because he was acting like a cat. My dad's secret talent is clapping with one hand. I don't know how, though. That's why it's called secret.
Okay, let's start. Sorry, we're gonna try it. All right, let's rip it off. Let's try it again.
TP, I'm gonna save this for later. I'm just kidding.